That's right, Pat. This is just erupted.
Why are we the victims?
There's no police support whatsoever. People are driving by shooting at us.
Routes there also armed with plugs. The Koreans here prepared to protect themselves against anything.
Driving by shooting at us, and we have to do something about it.
Want people to see that they are armed and that you enter their property. From any contingency. Once again, I repeat, this is not it.
We're gonna shoot at them.
All right, everyone. How you doing this fine evening, this afternoon? We are living in one heck of a time, huh? You can't say you're bored, that's for sure. You cannot say that you are bored. I'm going to talk a little bit about the LA riots. I thought this happened in 1992. Didn't it happen in 92? No, we're in 2025. Right. The most progressive era of all time. So I'm going to break this down. First, we're going to look at some clips. We're going to see how crazy everything's getting out there. How effing crazy the Democrats are. They're out of control. But I'll tell you, the reason why they're out of control is desperation. That's for sure. They are out of control because they are extremely desperate. And it's a good thing that they're demonstrating how out of control they are. But all right, let's look at Maxine Waters make a complete ass out of herself.
No, I want you to. Hello. Congresswoman Waters. I just came to use my congressional authority to check on David.
Ma'am, our lobby is secure right now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public apparel.
I need to get in.
What are you hoping to do, Congresswoman?
I just want to see David work. Right.
Oh, Lord.
Would a congressperson normally be able to enter the...
Normally, yes.
What is
Yes. Well, there were some of the authorities, I don't know who they were, and I'm trying to get in to see David Worker, who they have arrested. He is the head of SEIU local union here. I don't know why he was targeted. I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know whether they're going to deport him. I want to report back to my caucus about what's happening, but they have... No, I want you to... Hello. Congresswoman...
Okay, so this is... hold on, let's mute this.
Authority to check on David
Ma'am, our
Worker.
lobby is
Okay, so this is freaking hilarious. Maxine Waters thinks she's going to use her congressional authority and walk into an ICE detention center and muscle her way in. She's getting the door blocked and locked on her the exact same way she did in Washington, D.C. This is hilarious every single time it happens, but I will tell you the absolute truth. Maxine Waters should not be allowed in that building, bro. She is an absolute threat. Like okay, so it seems like she's looking for someone who's a part of some kind of NGO organization, some kind of nonprofit group or something, which that's probably why this guy is being taken in by ICE, because she's like, oh, I hope he's not going to be deported. So she knows that he's an illegal alien. So, okay. And then that means he's probably helping other illegal aliens remain in the country, get benefits, on and on and on and so on. So she wants to see him so that she can coordinate with him and then get a lawyer and try to do all this finagling and all this crap that we've been dealing with for decades in this country. This nonsensical crap where these people have power and authority that they should not have. Now, Maxine Waters is a prime example of absolute corruption. This lady does not represent anybody in her district. She is completely a part of this corrupt swamp crap. I'm gonna find that clip where she goes, oh, you shoot me, aim straight. If you're gonna shoot me, then aim straight. She's out there on the streets. I mean, you got to give her credit. Nancy Pelosi's not out there on the streets. At least she's out there, I guess, but she's got to protect her interests. Maxine Waters has been acting more unhinged than I've ever seen anybody who is in this level of seniority and authority in the American government. And you know 100% it's because she's dirty. You know it's because this lady is absolutely dirty, man. It's like she is afraid that she's gonna get caught out. All her BS is gonna be seen. And it's just hilarious to watch. So we're gonna be moving on from that. But I just thought we'd start off with a little light humor before we get into the more ridiculous parts of this whole LA riot situation. And then I will talk about my opinions on it, what's going on, how this is coming about, what's going to happen, and we'll go from there. So this gentleman he went on camera because he saw the whole thing, and he's just so upset about it, like it has anything to do with him.
Handle this, y'all. This is crazy, yo. I didn't think this was about to affect me like this. But our neighbor's school, y'all know I work at a school. Fuck. Our neighboring school, I think it's Gratas, I don't know how to say it. It's Gratas or something like that. They were having their graduation. And there's helicopters in the sky. Most of these schools are... Fuck, yo. Most of these schools are predominantly Hispanic. Gratas, I believe elementary, was having their graduation. And all of a sudden, a bunch of parents have to run out because ISIS is there.
Oh my God.
This is the story that I'm hearing.
Not ISIS.
And, our school goes on lockdown. Our principal, tells us it's a drill, but we know it's not a drill. And, I had to come outside. It's my break. We kind of got like off of a soft lockdown. And parents had to run out because they don't have papers, and they had to leave their kids because the kids do. What type of shit is this, yo? And then kids are freaking grabbing teachers and crying on their leg because they don't know if they're about to see their parents when they get home. What the fuck is this? And we voted for this shit? 15 people just got picked up on Wilshire at the Home Depot. On Wilshire. Yo. Man, oh my God. This is not...
Okay, I have no idea what this dude is crying about. I have no idea why he's crying about the situation. I would think somebody who, represents themselves as a man wouldn't be crying like this. But listen, we all have empathy and sympathy for the children, the kids that are involved in this situation, but we make choices every single day. I don't think the IRS would give two craps about taking any of my property if I didn't pay for things, if I didn't pay my taxes. I don't think that they would give a damn, the police, about impounding my car if I parked in the wrong spot, or taking me to jail in front of my kids if I did something wrong. And so, listen, we live in the real world. I will say this. The reason why Obama was able to deport 5 million people was because the Democrats lie and they do everything by stealth. They don't come out and tell you what they're going to do because they're not honest. And that goes for previous Republicans as well. Politicians are not honest. And so they can say, oh, yo, we love you, welcome, blah, 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 and then go around and round people up and deport them. Trump, the administration, is trying to make an example out of it. Trump probably thinks it makes great TV. Tom Homan probably thinks it makes great TV, and it's a great demonstration of force. But it just gives these Democrats more and more things to cry about and to talk about and to, get upset about. But let's just be honest, okay? I don't know if you've seen any of the footage from what's going on in LA. It's absolutely insane. It's crazy. It's devastating. It's definitely, it should make the hair on your neck stand up. It's bad. And the reason why it's bad is because we know, just like with the George Floyd riots, these are not organic protests. When there's piles of bricks being set up right in front of where they want you to throw the bricks, that's not really organic. That's there's something suspicious about that kind of behavior. We're I posted a couple of other videos and they're on X. I haven't posted them on Facebook, but they're kind of interesting and funny. But let's just call a spade, okay? Right now, we are being pushed into the Summer of Love Part Infinity, Part 1000. It's like the Democrats have been able to cause chaos every single summer, like clockwork, about anything and everything. Like anything that they think is a major issue, they can just do, because we've been propagandized for 20 years that, oh, the poor brown people, the poor black people, anything that happens to them, we have to go crazy about. If something happens to a white person, or, if something happens to somebody who's not, the propagandized group of people that we should all feel sorry for, then, keep your mouth shut. But if something happens to the group of people that Hollywood and the Democrat Party and the media has been for 20 years telling you is the poor, innocent, victim group, when in the 90s it was the exact opposite. They didn't give a damn about black people. It's so funny how people's memories are so short, because I remember in the 90s the media didn't give two shits about black people. They would demonize black people all day long, give a little bit of lip service to how things need to change and blah, blah, blah. But it was mostly, we don't care about you. You fit the description. Bye. Now, all of a sudden, we live in the new millennium and, everything's different. The media loves me. The media cares about me because I got brown skin. It's absolute nonsense. But this is the reason why the Democrats have not abandoned this rhetoric. If this LA riot situation does not work, if the Summer of Love 5.0 does not work, then you'll probably see them start to make a change in their rhetoric. But they are not doing it because this is their last stand. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. So let's look at the damage that these crazy people have caused. Just endangering the lives of police, just throwing solid rocks at them, concrete, just destroying cars. Yeah, this is a peaceful protest. It's totally peaceful. Guys, this is a completely peaceful protest. You understand? This is a protest. Like, they are using their First Amendment rights right now. They're doing the most American thing that anyone can think of. They're voicing their grievances with the government. It's like they're not violent. They're not trying to hurt anyone. They're not destroying property or anything. No. These are citizens engaging in civics and 101 constitutional rights. I mean, this is their right. At least that's what the media would tell you. That's what they would say this is. That's what they would say is going on. Listen, I don't care what has transpired. If the group that was doing this was not benefiting the powers that be in the media, in Hollywood, and whatever the powers that be are, they would be condemned. In January 6th, yeah, it got a little rowdy. People were fighting and shoving and pushing, and glass got broken, windows got broken, somebody took a crap on Nancy Pelosi's desk. But for the most part, everybody walked inside the lines. There were a lot of police officers that let people inside the Capitol. There was a lot of different things going on, and all in all, like 3 people died, 2 from like heart attacks, and 1 being shot by the Capitol Police. Not death by a rioter or protester, death by police, and death by, like, I guess, heart attack after the fact. But in the George Floyd riots, dozens of people got killed. There were security guards who were just beaten to death. Why? Just because, you know, they were mad that some random black guy halfway around the country got killed. Like, but that was okay. That's, I mean, justice. I'm just so tired of this stupid narrative that it is totally acceptable to act like a buffoon because you're emotional. But if you're white, or you're Republican, or you're conservative, or you're middle class, or you're upper middle class, or you have a good job, well, if you react emotionally, you need to have everything taken from you. You need to be marched down the street. This is Maoism. This is Marxism. This is the Cultural Revolution. If you don't know anything about the Maoist Cultural Revolution, please look it up, because this is exactly what they did in Maoist China. Is they would go to, they let the kids out early. They basically didn't have school for like a year or two. They let all the college students roam around the countryside in these droves with their little Maoist book. And then they wore the patches and they got to march around because they were in charge. And the authorities let them do whatever they want. And whenever they marched and they found somebody who owned a business, they would vandalize the business. They would march the business owner out in front of the whole village, in front of the whole town, and make that business owner tell everybody how they were bad and what they did wrong, and make them apologize. It's the exact same thing happening here. If you didn't apologize for being white or being wealthy or being successful or any of that stuff, well, you're not on the right side. You're on the bad team. And that psychology doesn't go away overnight just because Donald Trump won the election. Okay, I wish it did, but it does not go away just because Donald Trump won November 5th. They have been programming people with that for decades. And young people, millennials, Gen Z are absolutely programmed with that mentality where they believe that if you don't aspire to be a poor, smelly, weird freak who doesn't know what gender they are from day to day, and you don't support the indigenous whoever, like indigenous to where, we don't know. Just keep saying the word indigenous. Just keep saying the word sustainable. Just keep saying, fluid. Just keep saying the words. They don't mean anything. But if you're not that, then you're white establishment capitalist pig. They have literally drawn the lines to try to create this French Revolution atmosphere. And here we are. And they're trying to make this excuse like this is about immigration. This is not about immigration. This is about the Democrats losing the last vestiges of their power, and their last stronghold is California. That's why this is taking place in California. They're trying to show everybody how to do this. They're trying to show everyone this is how you engage in insurrection. You thought January 6th was insurrection? Well, get ready for this. Get ready for this. Man, I'm like, these people are just, they drive me crazy. So look. The bricks. The bricks have shown up again. We see the bricks have shown up once again. Once again, here are the bricks, everybody. Check out the bricks. Look at this. They're lighting stores on fire. Peaceful protest. People are rightfully upset at Trump. This was all caused, they want you to believe that this was all caused by one ICE raid. One ICE raid, like people couldn't control themselves. They saw ICE and they just lost their minds. And then in a collective fervor, thousands of people took to the streets and started attacking police officers. That is not what people with jobs do. That is not what people with bills do. That is not what people who care about their kids do. The people who are out there, remember, these are the thousands and 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 thousands of military-age men that they brought into this country over the last 4 years. Remember that. Remember that. Do not forget that. This is not just a bunch of angry, young college students. These are not just a bunch of angry young millennials. Those people join in after they see the violence being committed and they want to be cool. And it's summertime and they ain't got nothing to do. But those people don't start these things. Antifa starts these things. The cartels start these things. You got low-level criminals running around wearing masks, throwing rocks at ICE agents, burning things, attacking them. So they started, and then the stupid lefty college students go, "Ooh, look, this look like I did my time, revolution." And then they run in there, and then they're the ones who get their asses shot, killed. They're morons. That's how this works. It's not that the young college kids are just the wannabes. They want to be cool so bad. They want to be violent so bad. They want to be revolutionaries so bad. But their whole thing is just some intellectual form of communism. They are not the threat to our nation and our society. They are not the threat. This is the threat are the muscle. And this is why I didn't want to go off into this, but I guess I'll have to, because it's all part and parcel, okay? People are so upset and they're sitting there going, why haven't they taken out the people who were involved with Epstein? Look at this. They totally torched and burned the car and they're flying foreign flags, but you want to be here. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. No, you're an invasion army. Look at how none of these people are young women. They don't look like college students to me. They look like gang members from California who just want to do bad shit, and they have an excuse to do it, and they have political protection to do it. These are gangs, man. California is notorious for having all these gangs. You don't think that the political establishment in LA said, "Hey, listen, wink, wink, we're not gonna stop you if you get crazy," They don't want to get their hands dirty. This is why you saw all these judges just a couple weeks ago who had Trinde Aragua in their houses. Okay, I gotta find that judge who got caught with a Trinde Aragua, the gang. I'm sorry, I'm looking at something. The Trinde Aragua gang members who were in his house, staying in his house. It's because the judge probably uses them as muscle. Probably, I don't know. That's what it looked like to me. These corrupt politicians, these corrupt government officials, they love the influx of the illegals because they can hide the criminal cartel gang members in the floods of migrants. I'm sure there's good people in there that just want to get in and be part of the country. I'm sure there's some of those people, but there's tons of people that are up to no good and want to take advantage of our country. Otherwise, why are they coming in just now? Why wouldn't they come in prior? Oh, because in their minds, they were probably like, man, they would never let me into the country. I did bad things. But then Biden gets up there and says, surge the border, immediately surge the border. And that's what they did. Because, if the president is saying that I'm not going to get in trouble for coming in, then I might as well try my damnedest to get in. That's what's going on right now. I want you guys to like, share this. Please share this live stream. Please share this feed. Please share this broadcast. We're trying to get this Facebook page back up and running again because now more than ever, it's especially time. It's so interesting that we're in this time period. Once again, everybody thought we were out of the we're out of the most dangerous parts of history. Trump got reelected. I'm sitting here thinking, no. It's just about to get started, because now we are in the thick of World War III. We are in the thick of fifth generational warfare. This is fifth generational warfare. If you look at what is going on, this is fifth generational warfare, man. This is next level. They are using the populations and the societies within the countries to wage war against the country. And Donald Trump, they can trick so many Americans into thinking, no, people just don't like Trump. That's why they're doing this, because they don't like Trump. They weren't doing this when Biden was in office. Yeah, that's because the people who ran Biden also run these groups, run these people. The George Soroses of the world. The George Soroses of the world that flood the market with all this money to put these people out on the streets, to fund these people, to fund their bail. Remember Kamala Harris in 2020? She's like, I'm going to give all this money to all these people to get them out of jail because they're justified in marching for George Floyd. Remember that? Literally elected officials engaging in just helping criminality, dude. And people can't see it because they've been propagandized to think, well, if it's happening to brown and black people, it's an injustice that needs to be fought. Almost like that's why their whole 1619 is so important. Their 1619 philosophy is so important. That's why their whole Trump is Hitler thing is so important, because what it does is it triggers this idea that if you were to go back in time, if you had the ability to eliminate Hitler, if you had the ability to stop slavery, what would you do? And then most people go, well, I would stop it. That's what it does. Keeping people in that mindset where they're just continuously believing that there's some kind of revolution that needs to be fought, even though they have just as many rights as anybody else. If they're American citizens, they have just as many opportunities as everyone else. Is there inequality? Yes. Is there some things that aren't right in our society? Do we live in a perfect society, in a perfect country? Absolutely not. But on a massive systemic scale, there is not systemic lynching of black people. There is not some hunt list where the police are going after black men day in and day out. I mean, this is just absolute nonsense. But they transport people back in time in their minds, and so they think that if they act and behave in this way, if they do drastic things, they can end or stop fascism. They can stop injustices from happening before they begin, instead of realizing that we live in the 21st century, and the only way to stop true injustice before it begins is to get knowledge, is to know information, to learn how the system works, not to go out on the street and punch a cop in the face, not to go out in the street and burn a car. That's a good way to just land your stupid ass in jail. But they love taking these dum-dums and telling them racism is around every corner. You're going to get killed. They're deporting people because they're brown. It's just this crazy, insidious philosophy. It's just the most insidious thing I've ever seen. And people are buying into it hook, line, and sinker. And you can guarantee that China is loving this. China is eating it up if they're not also behind it. I mean, dude, which political party do you think China has had more investment in the last 20 years? I'm sure there's Republicans that have taken some money from China and done some Chinese people some favors, but we know Eric Swalwell and Fang Fang. We know that the Democrats were inundated with Chinese spies. Dianne Feinstein, her driver. The Chinese have infiltrated the colleges. The Chinese are the ones that keep promoting this ideology that, oh, racism is everywhere and it's so bad for black people and brown people. It's the same playbook that the Russians used during the Cold War. During the Cold War, the Russians advertised to black people in America and said, oh, it's so bad that you're second-class citizens in your country. We don't have any first or second-class citizens in Russia. Totally fucking untrue. Everybody knows it. Totally false. And then black people went to Russia and were like, man, that was a lie. Langston Hughes famously went to Russia because he thought it would be better there, like some kind of utopia, because Langston Hughes, the poet, was a communist. He believed in it. He went over there. He's like, there was a bunch of lies. There's a bunch of crap. This is not some land of milk and honey. They can barely operate anything. And it's the same thing with China, dude. China is extremely racist. They're racist against their own people. There's two different types of major Chinese ethnicities in China. And they are so racist against the minority there. It's not even funny. You couldn't tell them apart. I couldn't tell them apart. But they exist. And so they feed us that crap. And we buy into it because there's some truth to the fact that there's been some disparity. There's some truth that racism was terrible. When it was fully practiced and instituted and backed up by the government. Yeah, it was absolutely horrible. Yes, there is truth to that. But we live in the 21st century and we've moved pretty far past that. We had a black president, right? No. It's not good enough. It's 1619. And at any moment in time, any white man can get in office and just put everybody in chains. Like, that's even freaking possible. Like, that's even possible. It's not even possible. How would he go about doing that? How would Donald Trump go about legalizing slavery again? Please tell me. Please tell me that. Anytime somebody tells you that Donald Trump is a racist and he's the worst and he hates black people and on and on and on and on and on, you go up to them and you say, please tell me the process that he would go through to push a bill through Congress and sign some orders or whatever to put black people back in slavery. Please tell me how that would work, because even a bill that he has all the Republicans in support of still is having trouble going through the Congress and the Senate. Please tell me how he would enslave all of black Americans again. Please illustrate that for me. He's having federal judges stop him from instituting his constitutional mandate as president. So tell me how he's going to put all these black people in slavery. Please let me know how that's going to work out. Please tell me how that's going to work out. How does that work, per se? They can't tell you because it's all propaganda. It's all nonsense. It's all bull crap, and people don't know how the system works. They don't know any civics. They slept when they were in civics class. They fell asleep. They don't know anything about the world. They don't know how economics works. They don't know how anything works. We're gonna move on because I want to show some more of these videos. Man, I really want to see the one. Oh man. It just goes on and on and on. Anyway, I'm so irritated by this whole thing because it's just okay. We've seen enough clips. Let me just break this down. I've been rambling and ranting and going crazy, but let me break this down. Maxine Waters, dude. Oh my God. Okay, here's the video where she's saying, "You need to shoot me." All right. This is it, and then we'll move on. Oh no.
While you're in my city, you did the governor was not contacted. This is Trump and his outrageous attempt to not only target our sanctuary city, but to frighten us and intimidate us. This is wrong, and I hope that none of you will use those guns to shoot anybody. There's no reason to shoot anybody. Don't allow them to make your service in a service where you're killing people. Don't do it. Defy them. Don't shoot those guns for anything.
Thank you.
You have done. What are you going to do? You going to shoot some kid who's afraid of you and run? You going to shoot an elected official? If you shoot me, you better shoot straight. I don't know why you're in my city. You did
Listen to her.
You going to shoot some kid who's afraid of you and run? You going to shoot an elected official? If you shoot me, you better shoot straight. I don't know why you're in my city.
She said, "You gotta shoot me, you better shoot straight." Yeah. Yo, Maxine Waters is a classic old lady, bougie black grandma who thinks she's got it going on. So let me just explain what's going on. As we know, Trump has been decimating the Democrats. They have no plan. They don't have any sense of direction. They don't really have any leadership. I mean, when have the Democrats needed leadership in the last 10 years, right? But they want back in. They want control. And their whole plan, as Elon Musk has said, was to replace the voting population with illegal migrants. All you got to do is just give them goodies and welfare and a bunch of nonsense, which is insane, because here are the Republicans arguing against a bill that doesn't even get rid of it doesn't really change anything in terms of the debt or the deficit or anything like that in the actual passing of this bill. It changes the deficit in the things that will happen after the bill is passed. I'm actually all for it, having learned a lot about this bill. Yeah, there's some weird things in it, but okay. But here are Republicans arguing against the bill. A bill that would actually absolutely crush the illegal immigration, crush a lot of the ways that Democrats are getting their funding, crush a lot of the propaganda. And here are Republicans arguing about how much debt we're in. And then you have on the other side of the fence the Democrats who would have ramped up the money printing machine if Kamala Harris had won, to at least make her first 6 to 9 months in office appear like it was good. More free money, more interest-free money, more, low interest money, all that. We know the Fed chair would have lowered interest rates immediately, leading to a larger crisis because the economy would not have been fixed. There wouldn't have been any onshoring of manufacturing. There wouldn't have been any investment. There wouldn't have been any of that crap. It would have just been money printing. And they wanted to use more of your taxpayer dollars, more of your future, your children's future, and your children's children's future, to give entitlements to people that don't even need to be here. They don't even deserve to be here. They're not even supposed to be here. They wanted to do that. And since that's not happening, and they don't get their millions and millions and millions of new voters, they decide, let's go scorched earth on our own territory. It is a self-inflicted wound. If you know anything about World War II, this is exactly what the Russians did when the Nazis invaded Russia. It's called scorched earth. They burned their own cities. They burned their own towns. They burned everything, so that all along the path that the Nazis took to try to get into Russia, there was nothing to take. There was nothing they couldn't occupy buildings. They couldn't take any food. They couldn't use any of the resources that got left behind. Everything got burnt. And so what they're doing in California right now, the Democrats are in a desperate state. And they know that the only place where they have a super duper stronghold is in California, Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon. That's like their super duper stronghold. Even in Illinois, I don't think that you can't really, it's still the Midwest, dude. You can burn Chicago to the ground, but you can't burn the whole damn state to the ground. Like, people wouldn't go for it. The leftist stronghold is California. Even in New York, people wouldn't go for it. People wouldn't really go for it, bro. It's like, New York is very left leaning, but it's like, New Yorkers ain't about that life, though, dude. California is flooded with illegal migrants, illegal immigrants, cartels. They are right on the border with Mexico. So this is what they're doing. They are going scorched earth on their own territory. They don't care if LA burns to the ground and prices skyrocket and there's no livable place for anyone to be. And all these stupid doo-doo head millennials who think that they're, Democrats and communists and whatever, who can't even afford rent, will definitely not be able to afford rent in LA because the city is untenable. I mean, it's like, who's going to be a landlord in a city where it's like there's riots where they burn down half the town every damn day? And so they don't care about making the state or the cities in the state good. They don't care about making them profitable anymore. They don't care about any of that because in their minds, they're like, well, we're just going to sell it to the Chinese anyway. But the only way that they can get any kind of foothold back is to try to draw Trump into an action where he ends up looking like a dictator, and he will have to create a dictatorial totalitarian state where all of our rights are taken away, because those things are already written in law. Any president could have enacted any of these state of emergencies at any given time and revoked a lot of people's rights and citizens' rights. It's in the Patriot Act and all these other things. We've been having our rights slowly taken away. It's just they haven't openly, just in a big dramatic way, declared states of emergency where that's the case. They want to draw Trump into an engagement like that to make him look like he's this evil bad man that they've been claiming that he is, in an effort to gain sympathy so that in the midterms they can just play the ultimate victim card and win a bunch of states and win a bunch of seats back. And then as soon as they do, they're going to impeach Trump again. The whole Trump MAGA movement will be stopped dead in its tracks once again. Now, Trump's not that stupid. He's not an idiot. He knows what's going on because, in fact, Jamie Raskin said this on tape. I'm looking for the exact video where Jamie Raskin said this on tape. Here we go. I got it. Listen to this. Jamie Raskin, top Democrat in Maryland, said this before the election. Here we go.
What can be put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, they want to kick it to Congress. So it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025, to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job. And
did you hear what he said? All right, let's rewind that real quick. They already had a plan to do this. Listen to this.
To tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the
bodyguards for everybody. Who's he talking about? Who's he talking? He's not talking about you and me. He's not talking about like, let's use all the taxpayer money to give everybody a button. No, he's talking about him. He's talking about all his Democrat buddies. He's talking about bodyguards for all the Democrat buddies, all the donors, all the people, and Civil War conditions. Civil War conditions. Oh, okay. He said this before the election. Okay. Jamie Raskin, real tight with Hillary Clinton, real tight with the Democrat. Like, he's one of the top Dems, okay? And he said this, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard that, him saying that, but I just had to play it. This is what we're seeing in LA right now. And then we go to Gavin Newsom, as Trump likes to call him. Let's listen to what Gavin Newsom has to say. This is hilarious.
In point as it relates to nationalizing, federalizing the National Guard, threatening now to put in Marines. So I hope these people would pause and just consider. Now, some of them, they want that kind of chaos. Some ways, they're adjacent to where Donald Trump is.
Okay, Gavin Newsom is the perfect case study because he's super corrupt. He's part of the famous 5 families that run California. His uncle was the governor. Nancy Pelosi is his godmother. I mean, like, he is part of the 5 families that run California. Okay, so let's just know that. Case study. He is the American psycho. He has no issue lying. He has no qualms. He feels no guilt. He knows no low. But the other thing that he does is he projects, like all other Democrats do. He projects. He says what they do is what he actually does. So notice what he just said. He just said some of them like that kind of chaos. No. You like that kind of chaos. This is the same guy who's the Palisades just burnt down. What was that? 9 months ago? 9 months ago because of extreme incompetence. Let's just call it extreme incompetence. Terrible policy, terrible planning, terrible leadership. This guy goes out in front of the whole, the town is burning, if everybody remembers. He gets up there and goes, I think we're doing great. We're recovering. We're coming back strong. This guy is the ultimate scumbag liar. And in this clip, then he goes and tells another lie because Tom Homan did not say he was going to arrest Gavin Newsom. He said, if Gavin Newsom breaks the law, nobody's above the law, and I guess I'll have to arrest him. But he didn't say, I plan on arresting him. And so it turned into a big thing, and Trump just shook it off and waved it off and said, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. Whatever, you know. What? Like, anyway. But let's just continue listening to Gavin.
But the peaceful protesters, we want to keep them safe. We want them to exercise their fundamental rights. We want to keep those that are enforcing the laws in a respectful and responsible way also safe. But Donald Trump needs to pull back. He needs to stand down. Donald Trump is inflaming these conditions. This is Donald Trump's problem right now, and if he can't solve it, we will.
He continues to, as always, hit you hard publicly. Just 10 minutes ago, he put out another Truth Social telling you and the mayor to apologize to the people of Los Angeles. You guys go at it pretty hard publicly, but I know you talk privately. Have you spoken in the last couple of days to the president about any of this?
Yeah, we talked for almost 20 minutes, and this issue never came up. I mean, I kept trying to talk about L.A. He wanted to talk about all these other issues. We had a very decent conversation.
When was this?
This was late Friday night, I think about 1:30 plus.
Why would Donald Trump want to talk to Gavin Newsom about something he's pretty sure Gavin Newsom had something to do with starting? Like, I mean, like, why would he want to have that conversation with you so that you can get the details of what he's going to do so you can run back to your people and go, dude, Donald Trump's going to do this. Dude, this is the funniest part about this whole thing. And this is what people don't realize, right? They just said, you just heard Jamie Raskin say that he wants civil war conditions. Why would General Lee or General Ulysses S. Grant talk to General Lee and say, this is what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to move this way and we're going to do that. And these are some things I thought about. Like, Gavin Newsom is a lieutenant on the other side. And I hate to talk like this because people don't understand. This is not a civil war against citizens. These are like, I'm not involved in this. I just voted. This is an internal, high-level, deep state civil war between people who are in the government, people who are involved in some heavy shit, dude. Why would he he has to still deal with this guy because, you know, we aren't in a civil war, an open declared civil war, but we're in this Cold War type of situation. He still has to, Trump still has to talk to Xi Jinping. He still has to talk to Putin, even though these are adversaries. Okay? But he's not going to tell them everything he's going to do. Just because you're a governor in the United States, as we know now, if you are on the other side of the fence, does not mean that we work together, man. If Trump tells him what he's going to do, this dude's going to turn around and go do something to try to sabotage that. We've already seen that. The Palisades was the perfect example. Everything Trump was like, turn the freaking water on. And they're like, no. What? Why? Your city is burning down. No. It's like, what? This is the thing, though. That issue was so simple because people were not emotional about it. It was a natural disaster. So they had no pull. In this situation, the Democrats and the media get to make up this stupid heartstring, tugging on your heartstring nonsense that it has something to do with human stories. Just like the George Floyd thing. If that whole situation didn't revolve around a person, it wouldn't have had enough fuel. But they turned it into this thing about injustice against a person and against a people. And that's what they're doing here. They've already moved past black folks. They're done with y'all. They're moving on to the Hispanic folks. Where's the Hispanic George Floyd? Where's Jorge Jimenez? Like, that's who's next. Just mark my words. That might become.
And he never once brought up the National Guard. He's a stone cold liar. He said he did. Stone cold liar. Never did. Was a very civil.
Trump is a stone cold liar, and this is coming from Gavin Newsom. If I have never heard the pot calling the kettle black, I mean, good God.
Conversation. I've always wanted to approach engagement with the President of the United States. in a respectful and responsible way. But there's no working with the president. There's only working for him. And I will never work for Donald Trump.
Did you mention at all to him in that phone call on Friday night the types of raids that were happening in your state on Friday?
This is not somebody who wants to resolve mass riots in their state. This is not how somebody like that would act. I don't work for the president. Like, dude, if somebody actually wanted to resolve an issue and they actually were working with the president, they wouldn't. Why would you even need to mention that? Just, yo, I need help. Like, what is with all the extra? But Gavin Newsom, I'm sure that he has tons of PR people, tons of think tank people, tons of political people, advisors, all that, telling him, oh, this is what the left likes to hear. They like to hear you say this. They like to hear that. They like to, ooh. So he's just playing to that stupid audience. But let's continue.
You know, there are reports that and video of enforcement operations happening in ways that they haven't traditionally. ICE officers going to Home Depots around Los Angeles and picking off day laborers. Did you bring that up with him?
The conversation started with the frame of what's happening in LA. He immediately pivoted to other interests and other things.
Do you think he was aware of what was happening in Los Angeles?
I think I'm more than aware. And obviously, he was setting this up to take these additional steps.
This was a setup.
And I'm not saying he was setting.
It's a setup. Trump is setting him up. Don't you understand? He's the victim here. Gavin Newsom is the victim. He's been set up. Oh my God, dude. Liars gonna lie, bro. Oh my God. Can you I can't even handle the level of gaslighting that's happening right here. This is insane. Here's the governor of a state that can't function, has crime rampant, has people running in the streets, burning things down. There's a serial killer on the loose as well in LA right now. I'm being set up by Donald Trump. If you stop and actually paused and thought about the ridiculousness of the things that Gavin Newsom says, you'd be like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I can't even believe this guy's saying this with a straight face, man. God, the amount of cocaine he must do, bro.
Things up. Not saying it was a setup, but clearly they were in the process of moving to these next steps because out of nowhere, just a few hours after that conversation, he moves to pull the trigger under this construct under Title 10 and then created and exacerbated.
A construct under Title 10. Bro, he even tries to make Trump following the law sound like it's not. It's like a fraud. It's like, okay, whatever. Okay.
The conditions that are persisting today.
This is your authority normally to deploy the National Guard here. Right. You did it. We were together after the fires, and those National Guard troops have been out all across Los Angeles working to rebuild and recover this city. How did you find out that the President of the United States was going to usurp your authority and deploy your National Guard here in California?
I got a call from a staffer. No heads up whatsoever. And again, we're here to support local law enforcement. There's a mutual aid process.
Okay, that's enough of Gavin. He's just like the lies, the way that he just lies with such impunity. And this brings me to the point that I totally agree with Alex Jones and people that understand. Honest people aren't good at lying. And so when Kash Patel says, oh, Epstein definitely killed himself, and Dan Bongino says, oh, Epstein definitely killed himself. Like, dude, they're obviously hiding something else. They're just not good liars. And it's like you feel bad when you lie when you're not a good liar, when you're an honest person. So you look like you're lying. Like, it's like you look like, bro, there's obviously something else going on here. But I give them the benefit of the doubt because I understand the people who are good at lying are wicked people. Okay, the Hillary Clintons of the world, the Gavin Newsoms of the world, like those people are they think it's great when they lie. They think they're doing themselves some kind of service and not chipping away at their soul. So when honest people lie and they look at you like you're obviously lying, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because I know that there's something more going on here. There's something a lot deeper going on. this is a manufactured crisis. Yes, it definitely is a manufactured crisis, Gavin. Manufactured by your buddies, the Soroses, and Move On, and all these organizations that love to foment dissent in the United States.
Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes, been here 10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but
who in the world believes Gavin Newsom? Like, I bro, you gotta be a grade A dummy to believe anything that comes out of that guy's mouth. Like, it's like there's only so many times somebody can talk a certain way and their actions are completely the opposite. I mean, this guy go, oh, COVID, we all gotta be safe and stay safe. Then he's over there at this the French Laundry restaurant, having a good time, no mask, cuddled up with all of his rich buddies. And then he's, cheats on his wife years ago. And then the guy is a complete and utter scumbag, complete liar. Oh, the Palisades didn't catch on fire because of anything I did. They caught on fire because of climate change and it's like, dude, oh my God. Because Trump didn't give us the funding. It's like when everybody knows that in Trump's first term, when there was fires in California, the guy was like, dude, you cut brake lines, you put water here, you do, like, duh, he told him that in his first term. You can find video footage of them walking around the burnt areas in Northern California. And he's like, hey, this wouldn't happen. Trump said that, dude. So come on, man. Just give me a break. Just give me a break. It's like you have to have like one of the lowest IQs in the world to look at what's going on in LA, believe that it's real, believe that Trump has somehow caused it, and believe that this is not some kind of an attempt by the Democrat Party to hold on to some kind of power. Now, I don't think it's going to work, but they do have their little, mass countrywide protests happening this weekend. Countrywide protests happening this weekend. Everybody show up. Everybody come on June 14th, they say. It's the No Kings organization. No Kings. Because, Trump is trying to be a king. So, it's just insane. It's just absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. But I will say this. The reason why this is going on and the reason why we haven't seen any movement on the Epstein stuff or anything like that, like they're taking it one step at a time. Like I just mentioned before, you got these judges who are trying to protect known gang members, dude, illegals, having them stay in their houses. What would a judge need to have an intimate relationship with a gang member for? Now, I've watched a bunch of movies, and if it were a movie, like an action movie, that would be a corrupt judge who uses them as muscle, right? That's what that would be for, right? That's exactly what's going on here. And so people are all upset. They're like, release the Epstein files, release this, release that, prosecute P. Diddy. Listen, this is an ongoing situation. Like people are saying Diddy during this Diddy trial, people who are potential witnesses, people who know things are getting visitations from thugs and gangsters and criminals on behalf of P. Diddy, telling them to keep their mouths shut, trying to, tearing up their houses when they're not home, threatening their family members and their neighbors. Like even though P. Diddy is in jail, he obviously has a large criminal network where he can get information out to go after people who could possibly keep him in jail. Okay? So if you think that's happening with Diddy and Diddy's low level, what do you think is happening with Epstein? What do you think is happening there? You think that Ghislaine Maxwell's in jail, so it's all over. Let's just run the trial. No, you don't think that witnesses out there are afraid to come forward because the FBI in the past has protected these people? Like, Sean P. Diddy Combs was obviously protected by the FBI. He was obviously an informant for many years, and that ran its life cycle. So he's no longer protected. But you don't think people who still work in the FBI, still work in intelligence agencies, or have recently retired don't have something to lose by him being prosecuted, or him looking for a pardon, or him looking to lighten his sentence by ratting on people? This is an ongoing situation, people. This is ongoing. This is a continuous fight. That's why I'm like, the only person who I was trying to elect as president was Trump, because he's obviously shown the will and the desire. The desire to want to be involved in these kinds of fights. I don't want to be involved in these kinds of fights. I just see what's going on and can comment on it. But I don't want to do it and deal with it. Are you crazy? But that's going on while this is going on. While these riots are going. Why do you think these riots are going on? Because all these co-predator groups, all these people doing all these terrible things are all trying to, when the music stops, they don't want to be the ones without a chair. That's why this is going on. When the music stops, Diddy doesn't want to be the one without a chair. He definitely don't want to be the one who's got the electric chair. He wants to be the one with a nice chair where, if nothing else, he gets to go live his little life, take a little bit of money, and go live somewhere quietly and witness protection. Because Diddy wasn't the kingpin here. He worked for somebody else. You really think he ran things? No. They burned the low-level guys, and that's saying a lot. Now, why would you need somebody like Diddy? Why would you use somebody like Diddy? Well, just like in times of war, when they used Hollywood actors as spies, it's a great cover. If you're a big hip-hop guy who can walk around with an entourage of 20 some odd people, you can do a lot of different things. It makes it very easy to gain access to different things in different areas. It just came out Mike Myers might have been in the CIA, might have been a CIA asset. Yeah, that's right. Austin Powers, Shrek. It just came out from the Diddy trial that Austin Powers, Mike Myers, is probably a CIA asset. A lot more stuff like that is going to come out. And people are like, they're getting impatient. We're in the empty miles, bro. Come on, man. This is serious stuff. Man. I just think we were so used to losing. We're so used to getting burnt. We're so used to not actually seeing any movement that when we actually are witnessing movement, we think it's not movement. We're like, where are the arrests? It's like, dude, first they got to get rid of the low-level muscle, because the low-level muscle is what keeps the informants and the people who actually know the information in line. The reason why those people don't come out and testify is because the low-level muscles are the guys who go and break in your house, blow up your car. They need people to come forward and testify. So they want to help those people. So they go after the low-level people. They kick them out the country. That's what these ICE raids are all about. They take care of the criminality, the drug dens, the pushers, the human traffickers. That's the first level. Now they go to the next level, and they go for the higher level people, the financial people, the judges, the corrupt lawyers. Then you go to another level after that. It's like, we're not going to get into that because that's above my pay grade. But when you go above that, now you're getting to the Epstein level. You're getting to the Diddy level, okay? That's what they're dealing with right now. So when Trump is in the Oval Office and he goes, I might give P. Diddy a pardon if he's, nobody brought it up to me. This is a negotiation, okay? Hey, Diddy, give up the names. We might lighten your sentence. We might go a little nicer on you. Give us the names. Tell us who you were working for. Tell us who's involved. Put it on paper. That's what Trump's doing. He's not like, I don't think Diddy did anything wrong, so I'm not going to, maybe he deserves a pardon. That's not what Trump's doing. Trump is like, let's get the names put down on paper so we can go after those people. Let's get this done quick. He's dangling it out there. This is all a negotiation, man. This is an ongoing thing. This is not what people want. This nobody's gonna tell you this. All the freaking conservative influencers, they're not gonna tell you this stuff. They just like talking about the surface level crap because that's the entertaining stuff. That's the stuff that makes you feel good. It makes you laugh and goes, "Ooh, we're dunking on the libs. We're dunking on the left. We're winning. Ha 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 ha." And then they turn around and criticize Trump when it doesn't look like he's quite winning. No, man, I am in full support of what's going on because I can see the tectonic shifts that are happening in this country. I can see the moves that are being made. I can see the results that are being gotten. Meanwhile, not only is Trump taking care of this crap, he's negotiating with one of the biggest, baddest gangster organizations on the planet, the Chinese Communist Party. You think the Democrats in our country, you think Trinidad Aragua in our country, you think the cartels at our border are bad? They the babies compared to the big fish of Russia, China, Iran. These are big gangster organizations, bro. And we need a big gangster on our side that's going to do the right thing for us. And people are sitting here going, why are you putting your wigwam? These are the same people who want a monthly stipend just for being alive. Well, you can't give it. We can't give it to you if we're giving illegal immigrants, people who aren't supposed to be here, benefits and welfare. We can't give that to American citizens. We can't give that to veterans if we're giving it all away to people who aren't even supposed to be here. Dumb. We can't give free college to you because you're such a bleeding heart moron and your parents are such bleeding heart idiots that they are advocating for the destruction of your future. We can't have the great entitlements for citizens because, no, we got to give that to the poor little illegals who are sucking on the teat. Meanwhile, our taxpayer dollars are going out the window. It just make it make sense, man. You can't have a welfare state and open borders. You just can't do it. You can't have both at the same time. You can have something of a welfare state. There's a lot of European countries that have a welfare, that do it pretty successfully. They don't have open borders. And they also have a good economy. They have something that keeps the money flowing in. They don't just have limitless welfare and completely open borders like France does. Meanwhile, you got the French citizenry, just like us, just like the left in our country, think, oh my God, help them out. Meanwhile, their future, the young French people's future, is going down the tubes. They can't give you what you deserve as having been born in that country because you're sitting there so worried and advocating for people who are stealing your future. I'm sorry, man. The world is this is just how the world is. Not everybody gonna get up at the same time. And people are gonna have to learn that real quick. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead. Please share this. Please let everybody you know, your mother, your brother, your sister, your cousin. Black Rant is back, and we are talking about some really serious issues right now. There's a lot going on in the world. The summer of love has begun, has commenced. I think we're going to find a lot more of this happening as we go on. I mean, look at this. This is pathetic. You got LA cops sitting out there because they're demoralized. And then you got a bunch of, they're showing us the area where there's just a bunch of idiot college students and wannabes. This is not where all the thugs and the criminals are. This is, this is one of the nice areas. But, yes, please keep watching. Please stay tuned. We're going to keep coming back at you with more. It's just crazy what's going on. It's going to get more and more intense, but I think overall Trump will succeed. I don't think that he's going to get drawn into the Democrats' trap. I think we're going to win. I mean, they wouldn't be doing this if they weren't extremely desperate. And if this fails, then it just means guaranteed Gavin Newsom will not be president. I mean, he can run, but he will not be president. And that's good news too. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here. Black Rant out.